You know, when I was preparing my comments for today, I thought I would put into perspective the opportunities we face as minorities. You know, we're all familiar with the problems: high unemployment, high dropout rates, violent death, drug use. At a time when 18 million kids, that's 1 out of 5 children in the U.S., are raised in a single-parent household by their mother, the poverty levels are even higher for minorities. I mean, way above baseline average. We comprise, as minorities, a quarter of the population, yet we make up 2/3 of those in prison and jails. Even the Bureau of Justice Statistics claims that a black male born in the year 2001, out of every 3, 1 is likely to spend some time in jail during his lifetime. That's kind of depressing. That's the lens through which we're viewed, but the good news is that we can make the world better by taking responsibility to improve our communities. In order to do that, we must remember our roots, and we must leave a legacy for others to follow. We must remember our roots because in order to go anywhere, you've got to remember where you came from. You know, I remember my great-grandfather telling the story of a black man who was drugged to death. He was tied to the bumper of a car that then went down the rocky Alabama dirt road until he had no more life left in him. I remember 4 little girls who died in my hometown, in a church, in Birmingham, in a bombing due to racial violence. And they never grew up to see the America we enjoy today. I mean, think about it. Malcolm X, gone. Dr. King, gone. Countless others whose names we don't know and will never know gave all they had so that we could be here right now and have all that we want. So I think to myself, who am I to waste their sacrifices? Who are we to hold their memories in vain? The very least we can do is seize the moment. The least we can do is take advantage of the opportunities they could only dream of. We must remember our roots. But that won't get us anywhere if we don't leave footsteps for others to follow in when they come behind us. Because we plant the roots for the next generation of tomorrow by the actions we take today. This is why we must leave a legacy for others to follow. And we can't leave a place when we leave the same way as we found it. You can't leave Auburn University the same way you found it. Harold Franklin did it. When he came in 1964, after the moment he set foot on this campus, Auburn was forever changed. He didn't pick his fights, he didn't complain, he just made a difference. And I thought it was interesting that in this story, we got in the program, Auburn University under court orders. It reminds me of when we went to the LSU game recently. We went to Baton Rouge to watch the Tigers play, and we parked almost 2 miles away from the stadium. So on the way to the stadium, we're walking through just thousands of people tailgating. I mean, a sea of purple and gold. And when they would see us coming with our Auburn gear, you know, they start yelling, "Tiger Bay, Tiger Bay." It's like thousands of people. And the more you get into the crowd, it's like they just surround you. And this one guy was following us. As we're walking to the stadium, he's walking behind us, cheering people up. Everybody's yelling, "Tiger Bay." It was weird. It was kind of scary. You know, you didn't feel welcome. And when I read this article, I think about what they yelled at Dr. Franklin. At that time, what Auburn students would do is they would yell "Tiger Beat" at the players and the fans of the opposing team. That's a jeer that was normally reserved for the enemy on the field. But when he walked on campus, they yelled at him. I can only imagine how lonely that must have felt. I mean, it's bad enough to be integrated to school by yourself, but they're yelling at you? He didn't start any fights. He wasn't looking for trouble. He was just trying to get his master's degree. We have to remember what he went through because he made a difference. We should follow his example. We should leave our mark. And we also need to know that we can't be afraid to set out to the great unknown because in order to leave a legacy, one must leave. See, I'll use myself as an example. Wade was saying I recently graduated in August, and I can remember moving out of my apartment maybe 3-4 days before I graduated. And it was bittersweet. I mean, I've lived there for 5 years, you know. I'm feeling like I'm leaving everything I know behind. I don't exactly know what's going to be next. You know, everything hasn't come through the way I thought it would. A large part of me just wanted to stay where I was because I know this city. I understand this town. But now I realize I'm so much better off than if I'd have given into that and found a way to hang around. I got out of my comfort zone. The beauty of getting out of your comfort zone is that many times that's where we grow. Many times outside of our comfort zone is where we learn. Many times outside of our comfort zone the places where we leave our greatest legacies. So, in conclusion of those 2 points, let me just say this. Everybody who's a junior or a senior, can you just wave at me real quick? Juniors and seniors? Okay, good deal. What I'm about to say particularly applies to you all, but it can be taken to effect with everyone in the room. Each one of you is at a juncture of life. You have to choose which path you're going to take. And I'm not just talking about what your major is going to be. My question to you, especially the new brothers, is what kind of man are you going to be? Will you lead in your community? Will you defend the defenseless? Will you speak for those whose voice cannot be heard? Will you be an example to the little children who don't know and need to be shown what a man is? Will you be a reminder to the rest of us that we are indeed powerful beyond measure? Will you make a difference? The choice is yours. But before you make that decision, I want to encourage you and charge you with upholding the reputation of our organization. See, I don't know if you've heard, but here in the Franklin Society, we're men, not boys. We believe in education, honesty, and kindness. We are chivalrous, patient men of integrity. We are leaders that excel in every area of life and servants that never forsake the communities that have served us. We stand on the shoulders of giants and look boldly into a future that is ours in a world that is ours. Because if we can work hand in hand with our fellow man, then we can improve our communities. And if we can improve our communities, it stands to reason that we can improve our university too. And if we can improve our university, it stands to reason that we can improve our state and we can change our nation. And if we can change our nation, gentlemen, we can change the world. So with that, I say welcome to the brotherhood. With that, I say welcome to a group of professionalism. I say welcome to a group of elegance. I say welcome to the ranks of the prestigious men of the Harold A. Franklin Society. So God bless you on your journey, and remember to make your communities proud through guidance